All right, peace and greetings, YouTubers. So, welcome to another edition of In the News. Let's jump right into it. There's so much to catch up on. Like, I haven't done one of these in like a good 2 weeks. So let me start off with some of the events that have happened in the past. I have to start off quickly with Aretha Franklin's funeral. I couldn't sit through it all because it was 5 days long, but for the bits that I did see, I said, okay, yeah, they gave her a great going out. I'll say that. But man, that was a long funeral. That thing, what was it, like 10 hours, 11 hours? It's like, goodness, had they kept going, some of the older people that were in the audience might have been joining Aretha in that casket had that funeral kept going. I'm like, y'all got to wrap this up. But, I mean, they pulled out all the stops. I thought it was a great ceremony from what I saw. Only beef I had, whoever that Jasper Williams guy was, that preacher, there's some things that are done in poor taste that don't need to be done. And I think when you're at somebody's funeral, that's not the time, if you're giving a eulogy, to spew your opinions about what you think is wrong with people. This was supposed to be, a ceremony that's celebrating the life of somebody. And it wasn't your place to go out of your way and talk about a bunch of stuff that you felt some kind of way about, especially when the viewpoints that he had were very dated. I really didn't like the line he had about, he pretty much low-key attacked single mothers and, why they struggling and can't raise black men. And my opinion on that is, I do think every child should have two parents in the household if it's possible. However, what you don't do is vilify a parent who's working hard to give that child everything that they can give them in the capacity that they can give it. You know what I mean? You don't vilify that person because the person that should be vilified is the parent that walked out. If there's a father who's raising his son or his daughters or whatever by himself because the mother walked out or maybe she died or something like that, you don't vilify the father for doing the best he can. It's same for the mother. If the mother has the children or a child and the father walked out or the father's not around, you don't go out of your way and vilify and bash the mother for trying to raise a child and saying she doesn't have what it takes to raise a man. And I always hear people say that about black women raising black sons, but I don't hear that narrative about black fathers raising black daughters. You don't hear people say, well, black men can't raise a daughter to be a woman. And, can we be honest? A lot of us men, there's a lot of things we drop the ball on when it comes to understanding how women do things. And so you can see that there's kind of some misogynistic viewpoints with that. So I had an issue with that, in my opinion. It's, if children are fortunate enough to have both parents, so be it. But the reality in this day and age is many families, not even just black families, it's a single parent household. It's just the norm. And that's how it's always been, if we're being honest, for like the last 70, 80 years. That's just kind of the way things have been going. And another thing is this. I feel that even if there's not, and I really want to speak on this father in the household bit, even if there's not a father in the household, there are voids that can still be filled by other men who can, fill that lane in. There's a lot of kids who were never raised with the father, but the father figured out was in their life. It could have been their band teacher, could have been their football coach, could have just been the neighbor next door who taught them how to cut the grass, the neighbor next door who they went to learn how to tie a tie, the neighbor who they went to, who helped them learn how to drive, different things like that. The person who ran their after school program, that ended up being that mentor that they held on to. And like, you look at a lot of these people who become adults and they say, it was Mr. So-and-so who really taught me everything I need to know how to be a man. So it's not anything about just blaming the mother. That's why you talk about a community raising the children. And so if you want to sit here and vilify somebody, vilify that community for dropping the ball on that child that needed that extra void filled, that's what you should have said. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, that was a really long funeral. I don't think I've ever been in a funeral that long. The longest funeral I've been in, because even my father's funeral was only like an hour and a half. You know what? I had a friend that passed away 2 years ago, and she was like, it was like she was some kind of denomination that was like Black Catholic. I didn't even know that it existed. But man, that funeral was 3 hours long. 3 hours. And the thing was, because it was like a Black Catholic service, it wasn't very eventful. It was a lot of very slow talking in monotone, demeanors and lots of long pauses. And, you would go get the book and you would read a verse. And then after you would read the verse, somebody would come and say some kind of ordinance or something within their denomination. And then somebody would come and do a quick hymn with no music, no drums, no. I was like, it's already sad. Yeah, can y'all liven it up just a little bit? Like, where the band at? Get the music cranking. Let's do something. Goodness, listen, if I ever go, please listen, have a comedian do my eulogy. Because I feel like since I make people laugh, I don't want people to laugh on the way out the door at my funeral. Like, leave my funeral feeling good. So yeah, if I ever have a funeral or something, get a comedian to do my eulogy. And make sure the music is real good. Like, I need it to be upbeat and lively. Like, I want it to be a party. But don't be celebrating because I'm dead. Celebrate because I lived. Anyway, yeah, that was that. That's why I knew not to watch none of that John McCain funeral. Because I knew that thing was going to be dry. It just looked dry from the TV. I said, I'm not even going to watch that. Plus, I already had my opinions anyway. Moving on. I see a lot of people have been really going in on Geoffrey Owens. Geoffrey Owens was the guy who played Elvin on The Cosby Show. And people were trying to make fun of him because they discovered that, hey, he's working at Trader Joe's as a cashier, and they took a picture of him while he was at work, and of course couldn't wait to post it on social media and spread it everywhere, which I thought again was in very poor taste. And here's my thing. Why are you trying to mock a man who's doing honest work? Why are you trying to mock somebody who's making a living, doing what it is that he needs to do to get his bills paid? And had the people just done their own research, they would have known that he has other things that he does. From what I've read, he still teaches. He still does a few Broadway and off-Broadway productions here and there. But the thing about it is this. It's not even about whether he's famous or not. The thing is understanding that Hollywood is not a life everybody wants to be a part of. Some people are perfectly fine with leaving Hollywood and stepping out. And my thing is, if you look at his character and everything, he could have been like some of the people who they were stars at one point and they don't know anything but Hollywood, and now they don't know how to work. They don't know how to fit in within society, and then they end up becoming drug addicts or criminals, or they go off the edge mentally. And none of that happened to him. So why vilify him for having a normal life, being like everybody else? That's the thing. We're so obsessed with celebrity, and we're so obsessed with wanting to be somebody that when we see somebody who we once thought was at the top of the world, when we see them in a capacity where they're in the same lane as us, we like to make fun of them, vilify them, like, oh, what you doing working as a cashier at Trader Joe's? He said, look, my rent's due. Gotta pay my bills. And I think when you look at Hollywood, there's a lot of people who've been hurt by Hollywood. Some people just don't want to be a part of that life. I don't know if that's him, but I look at Janet Hubert, and I've been meaning to do a video about her because some of you have been asking. But Janet Hubert used to be the original Aunt Viv of Fresh Prince, and for like the last 5 or 6 years, she's just been releasing many interviews and videos and statements where she just really talking about the ills of the industry and why she feels some kind of way. And she really, really, really has a vendetta against Will Smith. She can't stand the man or his wife. I'm like, okay, all right. But what I see with her is I just see somebody who's hurt. I see somebody who I think the way that her exit from Hollywood kind of matriculated, I think she's been holding on to that, and she's been holding on to that hurt for like 30 years, and she won't let it go. And so at this point, 30 years have passed by, and she recognizes that there's probably not going to be too many more opportunities to, let her get back to a capacity or a space that she once was in. And I think that drives her crazy. And so when she sees people whom she once worked with now, living their best lives, for her, she feels like she's betrayed, and she's been milking that for the last 30 years. And so sometimes you be like, okay, Janet, you're doing a lot. And then a lot of times I'm like, okay, I can see where she's coming from. But, the industry hurts a lot of people. And some people don't want to be a part of that. So, if he chooses to work at Trader Joe's and do what he needs to do, it's fine. And another thing is this. He was on the Cosby Show 30 years ago. The Cosby Show ended in 92. Those checks are great. The residual checks are cool. But y'all remember, everybody finished off Bill Cosby, and all those Cosby syndication reruns, all those got yanked off TV. Cosby used to come on, four different networks, like 8 times a day. Now it comes on maybe 1. So I'm sure his checks and stuff also got smaller. So he said, look, I got to pay the bills. Mind y'all business. Folks be miserable. You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. So, and I think he did an interview and addressed it and said he's happy, he's fine. So, if he's happy and he's fine, let him live his life. Damn. Anyway, Childish Gambino's video, Summer. Some of you asked about that. I think the video's pretty cool. I like the vibes that it gives. It kind of is almost like a reflection of just everything that happened in 2018 as far as the summer. And I think whoever the illustrator was, I forgot their name already. I meant to write it down. I'm so sorry to the person that's the illustrator of that video, but they did an excellent job just with the graphics and everything. And even the way that the pictures are drawn fit the mood of the song. It's like a perfect blend. So, cool video. I really enjoyed it. I wish there could be like, I don't want to say he should do like a whole series of those kind of videos where he continues to address things as, the months pass by within pop culture and hip hop culture. But I think that's a cool concept. I wouldn't mind seeing like a part 2 and a part 3 over time. Like winter 2018, okay, anything like that. And then you have, goodness, I'm already forgetting. I gotta look this up because I'm gonna mess this man's name up. But this is the guy who won the Democratic nomination for the governorship of Florida. What's his name? I know it's like Gillum or something. I want to say Gilliam, but that's that Chris Rock movie, Head of State. What is his name? Andrew Gillum. There we go. So, what I found interesting, I don't know if you saw or heard this, but literally, aside from the statements from old boy talking about let's not monkey this up, I could have made a video on that as well, but I ain't got that kind of time and blood pressure and patience. I don't know if you noticed that right as he got this nomination, there were a series of robocalls that just kind of started being, circulated all around the area. Have we heard those? Can we play a second of that really quick?
Well, hello there. I is Andrew Gillum, and I'll be the mayor of Tallahassee. I'm calling to ask you make me your governor of this here state of Florida. As for my estimated opponent, who don't call me monkey, he ignorant about the many doings of our African race. For instance, we done made mud huts. The white folks waste a bunch of time making their homes out of wood and the stone. But we Negroes stuck with the mud.
Okay, see that right there is the prime example of what I talk about all the time on this channel. And people always like to come after me and say, you're a racist and you're a race baiter and this, that, and third. I'm like, no. You see what I mean? People can't even honestly run a campaign without some crazy racist trolls going out of their way to sabotage this man's campaign. But not just by sabotaging it, but by using a bunch of outdated racial stereotypes, okay? The whole thing with black people and apes and monkeys is very tired. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, y'all always try to compare us to monkeys, but monkeys have thin lips. Black people, we're not the demographic that have thin lips, but I do know another demographic that does. Monkeys have very thin hair. Black people, we don't really have thin hair. Our hair's pretty thick. You know what I mean? But I know another demographic that has thin hair. You know what I mean? Black people usually tend to have longer legs and shorter torsos. The opposite of what apes and monkeys have. And I'm not going to say anything, but I know there's another group of people who usually have that body type. So you know what? If you're going to do the racist thing and compare us to animals, you need to find a better animal to compare us to. Do a better job of doing the racist thing. If you're going to be racist, be smart about your racism. But there's not really anything smart about racism, so I guess that's that. But that was a hot mess. Like that I wish I would get a robocall with that kind of nonsense. Like, and there, it's such a dated perspective. You know, anyway, I ain't got time. And then DC, my lovely city. Have y'all seen this clip of the lady that attacks the Greyhound bus driver? Okay, I'm gonna try to condense the video because it's like 2 minutes. So let's just watch it really quick, and then here's my 2 cents.
Oh, shit!
Oh, yo.
Oh, get that shit. She's going to fucking jail.
What the fuck?
Yo. Oh, no, y'all gotta help me.
Yo, leave him. Leave him alone, man. That's the old man.
Hello? Bitch, somebody
That's
fucked up my whole car.
You guys doing?
Hello, 911.
Just wait till... Hold on, just
Yo.
wait. Hey, look, hold on, just wait, baby. Hold on.
Yo.
Wait.
Yo.
Just wait. Just
The
get
police
out.
are right there. Watch out.
They're right behind you.
Yo.
Calm down, baby girl. Hey, just move out the car. Just move from out the car. So you don't get What's up, man?
Yo.
Yo, what's the fuck? The fuck?
Oh my.
Why would you jump
You
into
right,
a
man?
car like that? Come on, man.
You're gonna get away with it.
Why would you get jumping in? So what? They can get up with her
You
later.
right?
You alright?
Did you see him?
I got.
Okay, so the main thing I get out of this video is one, I don't know if she was on something, but the bus driver, the white dude, sir, she already hit you with the car once. Why'd you jump back in front of it? Like, did you think, like, he pretty much was saying that he was trying to stop her from getting away. And I was like, listen, there's all these people with cameras that are recording. Everybody has seen everything. You got this whole Greyhound bus of witnesses. You don't need to jump in front of a car to stop somebody, especially if they're going to hit you with the car. She was already on one. The fact that she was mad enough, she went in her car, because she had sideswiped another car. It wasn't even the bus that she got in an accident with. Sideswiped another car, goes to her car, gets out like a hammer or bat or something, attacks the bus because the bus driver told her she couldn't drive, and so she got pissed off. Had that much anger to go and attack the bus with the hammer and all that. Goes back to the car to get something else. I think it was a car jack, and then attacks the bus some more. Okay, clearly that's not somebody you need to try to quarantine. This is not the day to try to make a citizen's arrest. This was not the moment to try to be a hero. And so play the clip on the side. Look at him. See, he keeps jumping in front of the car. Like, what are you doing? And then he stays in place, and she just keeps. I was like, yo, you could have died. You know, this was not the moment to try to get paralyzed over because you were trying to stop her. She would eventually have been caught anyway. Like. Oh, I don't know what was going on with old girl, but boy, and it was crazy because I read up on her. She's only like 20 years old too. I'm like, yo, you messed up your whole life. You know, tore up your mama car and then messed up your life. What you doing? But that bus driver, listen, the way she would have hit that bus and I would have just let her keep going. And the poor people on the Greyhound bus, they just wanted to get to New York. They were trying to go to Times Square. Like, I don't know where they were really going, but I know a lot of people in DC, when they're on that Greyhound, they're usually going to New York or they're going to Philly. But boy, yeah, I say he gonna jump in front of the car. Y'all, I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna do it today. I got enough negative traction going on this channel right now anyway from the last two videos. Last thing, I'll close out with because I need to go to work. Janet Jackson. I don't know if you've seen this clip of her on the radio show where she doesn't know what hot Cheetos are. Can we play that really quick?
It's horrible.
Janet eats potato chips?
Does Janet Jackson eat hot Cheetos?
Hot Cheetos.
No.
Okay, that means no.
I don't even know what
Hot Cheetos is like the good
are.
thing.
You really don't know what hot Cheetos are?
No.
They're like Cheetos, but they have hot sauce on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We should brought you some. Next time we'll bring you some.
Yes. You're in Atlanta. You got to get some before you leave.
I bet you that's good. That's
is.
like
They're amazing.
It's like popcorn with hot sauce.
There you go. So you're familiar with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Popcorn with jalapenos.
Okay. So with that, Janet, thank you for reminding me that I'm broke. Thank you for reminding me that I don't have any money. Like, Janet is funny because the way that she said that not with disgust, but just confused. Like, hot Cheetos. And I mean, as they described it to her, and that's what she was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. But when she first said that, it was the most foreign thing she had ever heard. Okay, that's the tax bracket I'm trying to be in. Okay, I want to get to a point where I can wake up and be like, a 9 to 5. Aflac, buy one get one free. What? I want to get to that stage in life. Rent. What's rent? But I forgot. Janet was she already grew up rich, so that explains her. Most of us who already are in whatever little bracket we're in, if we ever do come into money, we've already understood what it's like to struggle. So it's entertaining. But Janet, she's been having a really good 2018. I'll say that. I'm glad y'all are giving her flowers while she's here, because all of y'all hated her 2 years ago. And so I'm glad that, because she's won 1 million awards this year. What was it, Billboard Awards? And then she just won the BMI award. I saw she won something through Disney. She won some other awards. I'm like, good for her. That's pretty much it. The podcast is out. It's 2 parts. Part 1 is out today. Part 2 of that episode, I'm talking about Howard University my junior year. Part 2 will come out on Thursday because I had so much to say I couldn't put it all in one episode. And that's pretty much it. Oh, the Bobby Brown movie thing comes on tonight, so we'll be doing a video about that as well. Y'all just getting a lot. I've given y'all a bunch of videos this week, so don't say I was slacking. Okay. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.